Hello and welcome to the topic of system design. Basically, it comes under entrepreneurship and management concepts. Now, let us understand what is system design. First of all, system design is interconnected and interrelated group of components which has a common goal or an objective. This common goal and objective is decided by the management itself. Now the organization has major subsystems like departments, programs, divisions, teams, etc. Now each one of these systems has the way of doing the work or performing the work along with their subsystems, because collectively these subsystems are known as a complete system. Now to achieve the common overall goal of the organization, often these systems and the procedures are defined by certain plans, policies, and procedures. Now, let us have a look to the example, the diagram, which clearly shows that outside the system, it is an outer world, which means the environment, and inside the boundary of the system, we have various subsystems available with us. Now, this world which is outside the system is clearly known as environment. As we have also studied in thermodynamics, what is environment and what is system. Similarly, here also we have the limitations, which is known as boundary, and inside that boundary we have a system, and outside that boundary we have an environment, in which system sometimes exchange the data, gives the input and receives the output in the forms, or vice versa. Now the system can be viewed as a subsystem of the environment. For an example, a business organization is a system that functions within the contours of the environment, which is known as the society. From this, the system perspective, management should focus on efficiency and effectiveness in each part of the organization, which each part of the organization that takes each part of the organization with the understanding that actions taken in one part of the organization affects the other part of the organization as well. For example, like we need to implement a strategy in the production department of a company will likely affect other aspects of the company such as marketing, finance, personal department, or HR commonly known. Each part is tightly linked to the other parts of the organization. Not a single part of organization independently exists and operates in isolation from others. It is interdependent relationship. Now, thus, in the day-to-day activities, manager must view the organization as a whole dynamic system, but try to anticipate in the unintended as well as the intended aspects of the decision. Now, this approach also views that organization as linked to the external environment. Organizational effectiveness, even the survival, sometimes depends upon the organization interactions with its environment. Now, the enterprise receives the input and then transforms them into output and export the output to the external environment, or sometimes this environment can be treated as our customer also. Now such type of environment or any business or other organization must be described by the open system model, which includes the interaction between the enterprise and the external environment. Now let us see the next slide. It shows the characteristics of the system. Now what are the characteristics of the system? In commonly, if we see any system, we have characteristics like organization, interaction, interdependence, integration, central objective. Now what are these? First of all, these are, first one is organization. So organization implies structure and order. It is the arrangement of components that helps to achieve the objectives. Hierarchical relationships starting with the president on the top, that is the owner, and leading downward to the blue collar worker, the bottommost, which represents the organizational structure. Then comes the next, it is called the interdependence. Now, the what is interdependence? It is the concerned with how a system is tied together. It is more than sharing a physical part or location. It means that the part of the system or the system part or location within the system, even though each part has its own performance level. Now the integration comes. Now integration shows how well all components or subsystems of that particular system is working together or tied together to work and perform. So here the integration produces a synergy effect. Then comes the central objective. Then comes the central objective. Central objective, which is definitely designed by higher management or top management. The objective may be real or stated on the board. The objective is determined by higher management, and the user must be aware about the central objective well in advance. Now let us see the next slide. The types of the system. Types of the system, it includes open system, closed system, physical or theological system. Then comes the feedback or feed forward system. The next one is man and machine system. Last one is probabilistic system or deterministic system. So let us go to the first one. What is open system? An open system, basically, it continuously interact with the environment. It receives input from the external environment and delivers the output to the external environment, that is the outer world, which is environment. The next one is closed system. A closed system is basically isolated from the environmental influences. That here is what is isolated from the environmental influences means that there is no exchange of giving any receiving or giving any data in the form of input or output. And next is physical or theological system. So physical systems are basically tangible entities that may be static or dynamic in operation. Then comes the next one, that is the feedback or feed forward system. So we'll understand definitely in the next lecture with some different context like boundary and interface complexity. So we'll discuss in next lecture surely. Then comes the man-machine system. The man-machine system consists of the man, the machine, and the environment. It is the artificial in nature and the development for a particular task to fulfill. Then last is probabilistic system or deterministic system. A deterministic system is one in which the occurrence of all the events is perfectly predictable. If we get the description of the system state at a art of a particular time, the next state can be easily predicted. So this was the types of system, and here we have completed this lecture. Thank you. Thanks for attending the same, and we hope we will be connecting in the next lecture as well. By the time, best of luck.